Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. We are about to go see how Vidofnir's doing after Estinian slash Needhog tried to kill her. So, let's dive on in. Alright, we are live. I'm glad you're still alive, Vidofnir.
Me too.
Ah, 'tis the warrior of warriors and his companions. What bringeth you to mine abode? Pray forgive us for disturbing your recuperation, Vidofnir. I hope your wound does not pain you overmuch. Didst thou imagine me close to death? The thrust was deep, but not mortal. I will heal in time. Full glad am I to hear it. You were the guest of honor at our conference, and we failed our duty of protection. On behalf of Ishgard, I apologize unreservedly. I am a dragon full grown, and thou thought to protect me, mortal. I was tempered by the fires of battle ere thy great grandsire learned to crawl. Thy words do remind me of a knight whom I called friend some 1,000 years past. He swore to defend me from harm and hardship. Would that we could return to that era of peace, when man and dragon knew such comradeship. Would that our every effort to do so were not undone by ancient rancor. For a truth, there can be no peace while Needhog's shade yet lingereth. That much is plain, yet we lack the strength to banish him. Thus do we make to forsoom all to beseech the aid of your sire once more. Folly, thou knowest as well as I that he will not, how he will answer. Racefelger's heart remains unchanged, then. A pity. But if it is folly to hope, then I am content to die a fool. As hath ever been thy way of thy kind. Go then, but be warned. The Shade's presence hath driven its minions to frenzy. Thank you, Vidofnir. We shall disturb your rest no longer.
Oh, food.
Indeed.
A piece.
A single piece, yes.
Hey, food.
Not 5, not 10.
If you want more, talk to a culinarian.
Apparently.
Though I expected no better answer from Vidofnir, I take little pleasure from having been proven right. It would seem that our presence at Zenith will be every bit as unwelcome as I had anticipated. But when is the ire of one great worm to a trio of self-confessed fools such as ourselves? Let us begin our ascent. After you, Master Alphonode. Scout ahead if you wish. We shall join you at Mogholm. I had heard tales of the world above the clouds, but never did I dream. One's mind paints a pale picture of its majesty. Few live to see such wonders. I am reminded of my first visit to this peak, when Estinian and a sail yet walked by our side. Capo, is that you? Ah, if it isn't, don't tell me you've forgotten my name, Kupo. After all we've been through together? But at least you remember me. You do remember me, don't you?
He's our bard buddy, right?
Huh?
He's not the bard guy. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's Moglin, Moghand, or apologies, but all Moogles look the same to me. I'm gonna guess that it's Moglin, even though I'm certain it's wrong. How could you mistake me for that overstuffed throne warmer? I'm Moghan, the courageous Moogle who guided you to Zenith. Did either of any of y'all guess Moghan?
No.
No, I did the same as you, so.
I had clicked the second one when you said you were clicking the first, so.
Is
He
it
said,
still
I'm sorry.
Moghan?
No, he said, Few, you seemed a bit hesitant for a moment there, but I'm sure you were just fondly recalling the time we camped near Zenith, right?
Okay, so it still is Moghan. Okay. So there was a correct answer.
Yeah.
But putting our shared history to one side, what brings you and your friends to Mogholm, Capo? Ah, another audience with old Racefelger. Well, I hope you've brought the horn, Capo. With the winds as gentle as they are, a good loud toot should reach the Great Worm's ears easily enough. That is good to hear, Moghan. Thank you. We had best press on to Zenith while the winds are in our favor.
That was Alphino's chance. How could you get his name wrong?
Now that was unexpected, Capo. Chieftain Moglin will want to hear about this. Oh, I guess there's actually a teleport over there. Teleport us to Zenith, KJ.
Just jumping in. Hold on. Yeah, what'd he call his boss? Or the chieftain up there?
Overstuffed throne sitter, I believe?
Yeah.
Or throne warmer? Took me a minute to be able to click the word. You dare summon me again, mortals.
Great Racefelger, 'tis not lightly that we beg this audience. Pray hearken to our words, for they concern the future of man and dragon both.
Greetings, Resvelga. I am Emmerich de Burrell, acting ruler of the nation of Ishgard. I am come before you to parley on behalf of my people.
To parley, thinkest thou thy purpose unclear to me? Thou art come to beg mine aid in the battle against the shade of my brood brother. Oh, don't look so surprised, guys.
You foresaw mine intent.
I but read that which is writ plain in thine eyes. Would that thou had wit enough to scry the answer in mine. My beloved Shiva did once build a bridge twixt man and dragon, a bridge which thy treacherous forefathers saw fit to tear down, as thou well knowest. Thinkest thou Needhogg was alone in despairing at the murder of our brood sister? Thinkest thou mine own soul did not cry out for vengeance? Know then that upon that accursed day my heart did wither in my breast, and thy kind became unto me as harbingers of despair. 'Tis only Shiva's gentle dream that preventeth me from flying at Needhogg's shoulder. Be grateful that I swore to abjure aggression ere I consumed her. I permit my children to offer or deny thee aid as they see fit, to warn thy people of my brood brother's coming. That thou wouldst dare ask more of me is affirmeth thine incurable arrogance.
We understand that in your despair at man's betrayal, you seek only the refuge of solitude. But despite your protestations of spent faith, do you not still nurture the smallest flame of hope?
Perceivest thou such light in the dusk of mine existence?
I do. If you claim I see falsely, then tell me, why did you consent to bear Azel upon your back?
Isael, piteous, deluded Isael. The child did lament her past sins, and sought to balance the scales with her remaining days. 'Twas her unquenchable passion, so alike to that of my beloved, which did spur me into flight. And for mine own part, I would countenance no longer the hands of evil men to use my brood brother's eye for ill.
So you do distinguish between those who acknowledge and repent their sins and those who perpetuate them. Interesting. It seems to me that you have not, in fact, lost faith in mankind as a whole. Rather, you weigh our respective merits by how we allow the past to influence our future.
Spare me thine idle sophistry. Even were there a mote of truth in thy reasoning, what of it? Wouldst thou have me slay mine own sibling to save a city of mortals?
Should we suffer ties of blood to bind our hands, then? Nay, if the crime is one of unconscionable evil, we must needs condemn it, even should the transgressor be our closest kin. When my father corrupted himself and his followers with the power of a primal, I beseeched the warrior of light to slay him, an act alike to patricide. That he did not die by my hand matters little. If anything, it heaps greater disgrace upon my name. But had my father not fallen, he would have drawn countless thousands into a holy war of hellish proportions, which I hold the greater crime. Thus did I order his execution, sparing the lives of my people and yours. Alas, your brother Worm now prepares to murder those whom I sought to spare. What is more, he has taken my comrade's body for his own. But if I must slay my dearest friend to defeat my direst foe, I will not flinch from my duty.
Thou wouldst strike down thy friend, and by example of thy righteousness, persuade me to break mine oath and kill my kindred. Heed me, my child. The servants of Hydaelyn envision a different outcome. They intend salvation not only for Ishgard, but for the doomed Dragon Slayer as well. Believest thou this shade to be Needhogg returned? Is it not merely a manifestation of his vengeance, the shadow cast by thy broodbrother's rage? I would not command thee, but ponder well thy course, lest it lead thee into greater remorse.
Which one?
I went with the top one. Needhogg's transformation into Rage Incarnate is, in part, of my own doing. I rendered unto him mine eye, and empowered his revenge thereby. But 'tis the purity of my brood brother's wrath that lendeth him an all-surpassing might. What was that just popped up on the screen?
Fate.
Ah, okay. Hast thou the strength of will to stand against so terrible a shadow? I will. Would seem I must put thee and thy companions to the proof. I shall await thee in the ruins wherein Ratatoskr once dwelled. Heed well the words of my children, and hasten thee to the place of thy trial.
Would we not see that pink ball flying up and around the corner?
You would think so. I believe I spied a wyvern landing just outside the palace. It is doubtless one of the children of whom Racevelger spoke. Come, my friends, let us not keep our escort waiting. And I would just like it noted that I find it funny. Of all of the Norse mythological beings they could have chosen to name a dragon after, that they picked Ratatoskr as one of them. Ratatoskr is the squirrel that climbs the world tree in Norse mythology. My broodmates and I will bear you to the place of your trial. Make your preparations.
Kath, I'm sorry. I just need one moment.
No problem.
I'm back.
Welcome back. I was just looking up the various members of the First Brood and seeing which one of them were actually dragons in mythology. And so far, Needhogg and Midgard Sarmar are the only ones.
So they just needed other names.
Yep. Apparently, half the First Brood have Norse names, the other half appear to be Arabic or Mesopotamian. Like Bahamut and Tiamat are both Mesopotamian. Alright, are we ready for dungeoneering?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, and I found a list today of 15 of the hardest to get mounts in Final Fantasy XIV. And one of them, it's not that it was hard, it says time consuming. Apparently each tank class has a special mount. But to get it, you have to complete 300 dungeons, trials, or something over level 60.
Wow.
Holy shit.
And that's with each tank class if you want all 4 of them. Of course, I also don't know what they are. It just said the tank mounts. It didn't tell me what they looked like.
No idea if they're worth it, right?
Indeed.
Well, I bet the DK or the Death Knight is that mount that Odin rides.
I think you get that mount from killing Odin.
Sure. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't looked any of that up.
Yeah. Are we about to fight cubes? It looks like we're about to fight cubes. By the way, Emo, in the dungeon last night, did you have any trouble healing me? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Alright. It was during the final boss fight that I realized I'm not sure I used any of my defensive cooldowns the entire dungeon, so...
Well, the good news is nobody died, right?
That's right.
Kind of. Whoa, jeez. Yeah, don't run over that, huh?
I wonder if
Might
that's a
be
mechanic
important.
we're gonna have to deal with, yeah.
Yeah.
If we needed it to get somewhere.
Oh, no, like in a fight, I wonder if it'll end up being ground stuff.
She's not as social as her dad.
Hello, Chieftain Moglin. Okay, it says, just like in Thorn March, this fight is primarily about managing the ads that spawn. However, this fight is much easier. Moglin will periodically attempt to revive the ads, knock them away with abilities or auto attack to prevent them from resurrecting. Healers should be on the lookout for Moglin casting Holy, which will do unavoidable AoE damage to the entire party. Okay, Captain Mogson. If he is alive and within range of Moglin, he'll tether to him and make him invincible. Take him down ASAP. Let's see, Moogles of various classes will spawn throughout the fight. They're not too hard to kill, but as they die, Moglin will periodically drop purple AoE circles, kind of like summoning circles from the first boss in Hawk Manor, on the Moogles' corpses. Attack the corpses and knock them out of the circles. Otherwise, they'll be revived at full health. This applies to Captain Mogson too. Be advised that if you knock the corpses to the edge of the arena, they will be quite difficult to move again should the need arise. Direct them towards the center instead, if possible. Let's see. Kill the 3 Moogles when they spawn. Then when he casts Revive, the circles shoot the dead Moogles out of the circle, then continue to kill the boss. Then he will summon more Moogles, kill them, and then he does those purple circles, etc. Basically just kill the ads and hit them out of the purple circles when the purple circles appear.
Okay, so you hit them all in the center, then he puts the circle for the res in the center, and you kick them out of the center, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then once the purple circle goes away, you kick them back into the center. Or when the next batch of purple circles appear, you kick them back at the center. Assuming the fight lasts that long. Mogson is up.
These guys are all dead, right? Yeah.
Yep. Get him out of the purple circles.
Oh, I couldn't hit him the last time.
I couldn't get the last. Yeah.
More up. I think I knocked that one out of a circle and into another one.
Oh, oh well.
Just 1 second. Alright, I'm back. Okay, let's see what this next boss looks like. This boss has several unavoidable AoEs and is both a healer check and a positioning check for all members of the party. Let's see, the destructible environment. The walls on either side of the corridor can be knocked down in chunks by certain attacks. When they fall, they expose an electrified pool behind them. Avoid standing in it as it applies a DOT that deals heavy damage per tick and cannot be dispelled. He jumps, becoming untargetable as one might expect, and prepares to land at one end of the corridor using a familiar proximity indicator from earlier encounters. This will deal party-wide damage based on how close you are to the landing spot. Run away from the indicator to the other end of the platform if possible. Charge. After landing, he will charge down the corridor. This is unavoidable and has a knockback effect as well. Players will take more damage the closer they are to the center, being knocked into the air if dead center. All players hit on the sides of the platform will be knocked away from the center of the corridor. So make sure to stand by a wall so you don't get knocked into the pool of electric death. If no walls are available, stand in the center. Getting knocked into the air is much less painful than receiving the DOT. Quasar is an unmarked line AoE with a reasonable cast time. The attack is probably the main reason walls fall down. Stack directly behind the horse to keep Quasar from going off to the side of the hidden walls. Can also be aimed down the center of the platform to avoid hitting any walls. I don't know what the horse is, but... And Cloud Call. One player will receive a purple marker. When the marker disappears, a thundercloud will spawn overhead. This cloud will pulse heavy damage, applying a vulnerability debuff and destroying walls that are next to it. Fortunately, the radius of the pulse is slightly smaller than the width of the corridor. Tanks should pull away from this if possible to avoid stacking vulnerability debuffs on themselves. A good early placement for the cloud is halfway down the corridor, smooshed against the wall. Later in the encounter, try to place it near a wall that has already been destroyed. So basically, try to avoid the things. This hallway is much smaller than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a mount?
There is a mount that looks like that,
Okay.
but it comes from level 150 or higher in Palace of the Dead. Alright, be on the lookout for the marker. Get over here, come to me. Get out of the middle.
Emo, you got a marker on you?
I didn't even see it on me, dang it. Sorry.
That's alright.
I didn't even know which one it was. I was just like, oh, you got it, something on your head.
I needed to put it back where it was already, dang it all.
Run to the other
Other
end.
side.
Hang to the left. That wasn't bad.
Okay.
No, not too bad.
If we had lower level gear, it probably would have been rough, but we don't have that problem. I think we would get out of that.
All classes, what was that?
Wrists.
Oh, okay.
Alright, this fight takes place on multiple pedestals, similar to the Kraken encounter in Hullbreaker Isle, but much smaller. Unlike that encounter, platforms can and will be destroyed as the fight progresses, acting as a DPS check for the entire counter. Healers should prepare to be on the pedestal or one pedestal away from the tank at all times to keep them in healing range. DPS should be ready to chase down adds on other pedestals, returning to the healers and tanks platforms to top up and continue burning down the boss. DPS should spread out if they share the same platform. To minimize damage from Holy Breath, Racevelger can be DPS'd from the back by melee DPS on a separate platform, and with appropriate tank positioning. Hitbox as yet untested. Let's see. Holy Breath, Pulse AoE targeting a random player that takes up nearly an entire pedestal. No cast bar, it'll probably hit you once or twice. Move out of the AoE or jump to another platform to avoid. I love the title of this one. Big Bad Pedestal Destroying Breath. Racefelger prepares a very big and very noticeable AoE that will destroy 2 pedestals at a time. If you or a party member alive or KO'd on a platform when it is destroyed, you are removed from the fight, just like in Titan's fight. You can lose all the platforms, so make sure you're conserving them and ideally saving a big one for last. A good strategy is to snake Racevelger around the edge of the arena, effectively playing leapfrog with the tank just a platform ahead or behind of the DPS. Note, at one point I got stranded on a pedestal by this attack and freaked out. Don't worry about that, the jump circles will still work even if you no longer have directly adjacent pedestals. Holy Sprites. A couple of adds spawn after the Big Bad Pedestal Destroying Breath, which he abbreviates the BBPDB. These seem to start attacking party members at random and are more of a nuisance as the fight progresses. DPS can pick these up without needing any tanking. Not yet tested if they do anything special if left alone. Ice Cubes and Dragon Heads. An ice cube and a dragon head will appear and float toward each other, intersecting above a pedestal. Yeah, probably the one you're on. When they collide, they do a little explosion that kind of hurts, so get to a different pedestal before that happens. Ice cubes on their own that a halt on the platform should be avoided. They will apply heavy damage and a heavy debuff to any party member on the same platform. So, in short, be on the same platform or nearby to keep party members together. Avoid the huge square of death when Restvegler prepares to destroy the platforms. Spread out on each platform to avoid excess damage. Alright, are we ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're staying on the same platform, either behind or probably behind you, right?
Yeah, you need to either be on a platform next to me or on the same platform as me. KJ and Zora probably want to be on a different platform, although they could be on the same one. They just need to be prepared to run if they need to.
Okay.
And KJ, you can zap him whenever you want.
Ah, shit, where'd he go? Oh, dang.
Get off those, yeah.
KJ, you're not supposed to be on the same platform as him.
I know what I'm doing, thank you. I just want to make sure that I hit him with the big limit break. I did not see the ice on my head or above us.
Trying to make sure he just destroys one in the next blast if possible.
That was BS.
I'm heading for the big platform. If y'all need to come to my platform, you're good. Although I think we just won. Never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just about ready. We had another limit break already up, so that was sweet.
That was a fun fight.
Indeed.
We told him who's boss.
Saying emo defeated him.
Yeah, now he flew off and left us on a pedestal floating in the middle of the sky, so we're all dead now.
Yeah.
Right.
What did you say, Sora?
Aim says that you defeated him.
Yeah, that's right.
What says that Emo defeated him?
It said in my thing, it said, like in my log, it said emo defeated
Ah.
him.
Yeah, she landed the last blow, I guess.
Yeah.
Well done.
I did see her lean forward and hit it.
So whack.
I put that healing bubble on us and then started DPSing hard. Worth it.
I heard the wood stick hit. Kaplunk. Watch, we weakened him so much. Knee dog's gonna jump over here.
Even bereft of an eye, my brood brother was a fearsome foe indeed. But having tasted thy strength firsthand, I do begin to see how thou didst bring him low. Eidolon chooseth her servants well. Very well. I shall trust in the seed of man one last time. By thy deeds shall the flickering hope that lingereth yet within my heart be kindled anew, or extinguished forever. Where the hell have you two been?
Your trial is ended as well, then?
Mine was brutal beyond reckoning. Vedfalnir seems ill-acquainted with the notion of mock battle.
Oh, that's cool. They all got tested.
That you yet stand is ready proof of your determination, mortals. Let us fight as allies, then, and together banish my brood brother's vengeful shade. On my oath, the wrath that once was Needhog shall meet its end. This I swear on the memory of my beloved Shiva, and on the soul of lost Isael.
Hey, so did that mean Alf was fighting what's her face, who was actually wounded?
Yep. Oh, my poor ribs. Racevelger saw fit to pair me with Vidofnir, but her ferocity was such that I began to wonder if I hadn't simply imagined her injury.
I feel like we're right ahead of this conversation.
Yet my trial pales into insignificance next to yours. How fared you in your duel with Racevelger? Yeah. I take from this that your battle was rather more involved than my own. Verdfalnir simply seemed largely concerned with how long he could keep me rolling in the dust. Between dodging, snapping fangs, and slashing claws, I scarce had time to aim a blow. Had he truly meant to harm me, of course, I would not be standing here now. Plainly, his intent was to teach. His onslaught forced me to recall my training about the speed of a dragon, his balance, his blind spots. It was, in short, a very thorough lesson. Ow, 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 Kupo. Let me begin by congratulating you on the completion of your trial. For one with a name more befitting a jester, you fight with the savagery of a rabid demon. You see how my wings are kinked? Even my palm aches. After that drubbing, I fear my loyal subjects will have to bear the load of my personal chores for quite some time, Kupo. Possibly indefinitely. What? When I told you about his trial, I didn't mean for the rest of us to suffer. That's triple shifts for you, Moghan. Triple? But that's not fair. There's no justice, Kupo. None at all. Yes, group shrug is the correct response to Moogles.
Poor Moghan.
Our negotiations proved rather more strenuous than I had anticipated, but the results seem well worth the effort.
The battle was indeed hard won. Thank you, my friends. I would never have earned Hraesvelga's cooperation had you not seen fit to grant me yours. 'Twas your stalwart heroism that moved the heart of the Great Worm at the last. Any gratitude I can offer is but poor reward for your continued service to Ishgard.
'Twould seem our final reckoning with the dread worm is at hand. I only wish we had some inkling as to when he means to strike.
That shadow was well placed.
Yeah.
Oh, gods.
The cry heraldeth his coming. Nidhogg's shade hath taken wing.
It has begun. We must away to Ishgard.
Ishgard will not last long against Nidhogg and his horde. We must away. I think that might be the briefest intro ever. Oh, okay, we still have more here.
I was gonna say, yeah. But I'm in a cut screen.
As am I. Know you then what this roar portendeth?
Aye. I must return to my city without delay.
Then we shall lend you our wings. Let us meet with Nidhogg on the field of battle, and together bring an end to his wrathful song.
The smallest one gets on the biggest.
Well, I think...
My-
oh, yeah. I was about to say, Alpha Node is... I mean, Vidolfinir is probably the second biggest, at least, but... but I was thinking Alpha Node might need a ladder or something. So I'm not sure how you pulled it off.
Oh, I shimmied up the side of his leg. He does a commando crawl, but it's on the wall side sometimes when he's climbing. Yeah. Of course, with you, you're the biggest there. Just jumping on the biggest dragon. I don't know why the alliance of the Eorzea isn't here helping.
Probably didn't have time to respond.
That's true.
Remember your training! We hold fast until the Lord Commander returns. Ugh. We must hold!
Where are your dragoons, Ishgard?
Yeah. The elite guys that went scouting but couldn't find nothing, they should be back.
Indeed. Although I suppose if Needhog is already there, they might be fighting him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's tired. That's such a cowardly move.
Reinforcements! By the Fury, that one is the size of Nidhogg.
That gave me the chills.
Lord Commander!
You are late, Warrior of Light.
Wherefore standest thou where these vermin, brother? Abandon this war, shade. The suffering thou sowest serveth no end. The traitor's progeny have learned of their forefathers' betrayal, and seek now to make amends with our kind. Never shall our grief be assuaged, nor our loss forgotten. But reconciliation may yet halt the spread of this plague of enmity. Forsake thy vengeance and be at peace. What soft-hearted ramblings are these? Thy dalliance with the vile maid hath robbed thee of thy wits. Mayhaps her cloying perfume hath made thee forget the stench of our brood sister's lifeblood. Thus thou darest speak thus of my beloved. Ah, so the flames of rage may yet be kindled. I feared thy heart's fire had long since gone out. But waste not thy fury on words, brother. Thou shalt have need of it for the battle. I'm not sure the steps of faith are going to survive this.
Yeah.
Thou art weak, Racevelker, a slithering worm who fawneth on the vermin, who should rightly be his prey. For 1,000 years have I fought without cease, and thou didst think to prevail against me? Glory not in thy victory, Shade. The battle is not yet won. My power and my hope have I entrusted to another. Thine eye, what hast thou done? Fool, thou wouldst trust a mortal with thy strength? I know thee. 'Twas thou who didst intrude upon my lair and best the half of me. But now I am whole, and naught in creation shall deny me my vengeance.
Damn it! I was all expecting to do a badass backflip, shooting arrows and stuff, jumping all around from corner to tower, everywhere else.
I did love the sequence just after we landed, where we're doing a slow walk toward where Needhog is right now, while everybody else is running away.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're badass.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my little legs all straight doing the little tunk tunk tunk.
Okay. I'm gonna try to go over the tactics or the strategy for this, but this seems rather long, so chances are we'll get in there and this thing will be over in 30 seconds. But
Well, hopefully.
this
Yeah.
is this is one of the 8-man trials, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, it says, unlike the previous encounter in the Eyrie, this fight has 4 phases that combine healer checks, DPS checks, and raid mechanics, such as stacking to share damage. Positioning of all players is crucial to your success in this fight, as several lethal AoE zones will be cast in quick succession that you may not be able to avoid with poor positioning. Okay, let's see. We haven't done either of the things they're talking about here, so that doesn't help us any. See, this encounter can be especially tricky for those whom have only done the main scenario quest. So, us. But we've done lots of fights and lots of games that require positioning, so we understand how it works.
And stacking.
Right. Alright, Phase 1, Normal Dragon. Avoid the flyover AoE and hot wings AoE. This will be a huge AoE blast of fire, followed by a room-wide AoE with a safe line along the length of Needhog's body. Needhog will do a deafening blow every so often throughout the fight. Or deafening bellow, sorry. It does approximately 4,000 damage each time to the entire party, and in later portions of Phase 1 will be cast twice in a row. It is recommended for casters to stay within AoE heal distance of their healers at all times, preferring to avoid AoE damage where necessary. Run out of the holes that spawn under the players, as they will do massive damage to any player caught inside one. Run out of Needhog's fire trail. The holes will spawn first. Needhog will disappear, and you will be able to see where he flies and where the trail will go. Since the room is massive, it's recommended to stack in the center of the room every time Needhog flies away, then spread out to avoid AoEs, thus ensuring you can get positioned in time. Phase 2 is adds. This is a DPS check. If adds are killed too slowly or not killed at all before Needhog blasts players back, it's a wipe. Middle add can't be tanked and will attack players randomly with an unmarked short-range frontal AoE telegraphed by him preparing to swipe at a player. Move away from the add before it swipes to avoid this extra damage. Tank the 2 remaining adds on the sides, positioning their AoE cones outside of the arena. Assign 1 healer to each tank to heal and provide additional DPS if possible. If you find yourself wiping on the transition phase where the 8 circles appear, then it's because you didn't kill the adds in time. Whether you stand in the circles or not makes no difference. The DPS requirement is fairly strict with minimum eye-level gear and may require a limit break. And healers to contribute DPS in 4 groups, DPS cannot burn the adds fast enough. Well, we don't have minimum eye level gear, so we're good there. Phase 3 is humanoid form. Needhogg will cast the hard-hitting Alamam on the tank. This is a tank buster that should be single target healed and shielded through when possible. Run out of Gergasol line AoE that goes from Needhogg toward a random player. Spread out the meteor circles about the side of the room. Healers should also spread to the edges even when not targeted. Once hit, run to the circle placed to the floor immediately to avoid a bleed debuff effect. After the first meteor circles spawn, an area target room-wide AoE will spawn, seemingly under a healer. Run as far away from this as possible, avoiding any additional AoEs that spawn to reduce damage. Healers should cast AoE heals and shields when possible to help mitigate the damage. And then phase 4 is Fire Dragon. This repeats phase 1 with additional mechanics and angrier red particle effects. When Ankh Morn is cast, as indicated by a gigantic yellow arrow indicator pointing at a single player, stack and stay stacked on the targeted player until all lightning bolts have been cast. It may be helpful to set a waypoint for everyone to stack into. Doing so will spread the damage to all players, which ideally will prevent anyone from dying. The number of bolts that will strike increases as the fight progresses. Everyone should stack, including the main tank if possible. Everyone, even doing so, this will deal heavy damage that should be healed and shielded through. Should players not stack, subsequent bolts will target random players for lethal damage, which will most likely cause a wipe. Once the attack is complete, main tank should face Needhogg away again and to avoid cleaving the party. 3 fireballs will spawn on the ground occasionally. These are bombs that will explode in a plus shape, very similar to the mechanics of Alexander, but we haven't done Alexander. Stand in a row and column unoccupied by these bombs and avoid the damage, and be prepared immediately to sprint back to the center for another cast of Hot Wings. Run out of Hot Wings AoE. It is a room-wide AoE with a safe line along the length of Needhogg's body. Let's see. Run out of Hot Tail. It will be straight after Hot Wings and cover the area that is safe during Hot Wings, so underneath Needhogg. Run out of any holes when they spawn into random players. Run out of the fire trail. And as its final phase, these mechanics will repeat until the boss is dead. So yeah, there's a lot to this one. But it's mostly stay out of the things, except when we need to stack. And kill the ads as quickly as possible. Are we ready?
Yeah.
We stand. Oh shit.
Back.
On me.
I was so close to dying.
I take it somebody else through the.
Yeah, limit break.
Yeah, I don't know whose limit break that was, but that was a pretty cool one.
Yeah. I was about ready to do that. I was like, I gotta throw this on. Oops.
So the combination at the other tank because I let her do all the work. So. Well, other than tanking the ad in the middle phase, but y'all did me a solid on that one and killed mine first. So
Yeah, your middle guy came up and nobody was hitting it, and he started chasing Nemo. Then I shot it, and then he actually went after you. And I was like, I thought you couldn't hold aggro on him, but
you can't hold aggro on the middle one. I just was there with him, so stacking AoEs on him.
Is this to be mine end? Nay, I will not allow it. I am of the first brood. I am vengeance incarnate. I am Nidhogg! Thou shalt die by my hand!
This is not your hand, worm!
Thou wilt obey!
I would ask one last favor of you, Warrior of Light. Finish me, now, while I have the beast subdued! You waste your time. Kill me! It is the only way! Ending Nidhogg will be my final duty!
No! You can't die like this! I won't let you!
eyes! Cast them into the abyss! He lives. Ah, Estinian, my ill-fated friend. Lucia, summon the healers. I want them ready to receive him.
At once, Lord Commander.
Allow me to do this much, at least.
The Horde have sensed the fall of their master and scattered to the winds.
You have my gratitude, Hraesvelga. Your deeds this day have saved a great many lives.
Then our alliance hath served its purpose. Thou didst wield the power I granted thee well. 'Twas thine own skill and not mine eye which earned thee victory. I wish thy companion a swift recovery. Fare you well, children of man.
Are we keeping the eye then?
I'm not sure what happened there. I might not have survived. We might have absorbed all of its power there.
Possible.
I'm down with that.
The battle is won. We can do no more for Estinian now than bear him home and wish him well.
But if I was
Even
him,
as
I would have
Hraesvelga
taken
did.
one of the eyes, though.
The rest we must trust to the hands of the healers.
I don't think he wants
and the
one of
grace the
Needhog's
gods.
eyes.
I don't know if it would corrupt him, but anyway.
Sure did a number on Estinian.
Dragon, human, you know.
Though the haze of pain, or through the haze of pain, I swear I sensed... But no. The past is done, and we must look to the future. At long last, Needhog is gone, his foul spirit cast out once and for all. I only pray that Estinian survives the ordeal.
See, that's the thing, though. See, his evil spirit or corrupted, whatever you want to say, spirit was cast out. So those are just tools, right?
Maybe. Your battle with Needhog's Shade will beget many an epic ballad. And rightly so. It was, without a doubt, one of your more epical victories. Though, I must admit that I took greater joy in seeing you emerge from the experience unscathed. And not only for your own sake. Had you not been there to aid me, those infernal eyes would still be fused to Estinian's mail. Yet even with Needhog gone, I cannot help but wonder how much of our friend remains. Let us pay a visit to Lucia and beg news of his condition.
A ballad. We came, we saw it, we kicked his ass.
Indeed. Although I will admit, just yeeting the eyes into the abyss seemed like a not very well thought out plan,
Yeah.
but
Well, and not in the same side even. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
it should have been on different sides.
That's
Well,
what I was thinking.
yeah.
Is it
too.
really an abyss? I mean, come on now.
it's just a chasm. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a river or something down there. I'm sure it's all going to run down there, and some hapless kid's going to pick him up.
We'll go down. We'll end up going down there in a couple of X packs that have to fight these super rats that have fused with the eyes.
Yeah, two brother rats or something.
My honored friends, as if winning Race Velger to our side were not enough, you took it upon yourselves to rid us of his brood brother. I know not how to thank you. My own contribution was hardly noteworthy. The true saviors of the day were our triumph over Needhog's Shade, though strengthened through strength of arms, and the others through strength of will. And speaking of Estinian, what news of his recovery? The Azure Dragoon was confined to the infirmary, where he now resides under the care of the Hospitaller Captain. I am told he has yet to regain consciousness. But, as you know, Estinian's mind and body were held hostage for many days. We must be patient and allow the process of healing to begin. In the meantime, you would do well to rest and recover from your own ordeals. But surely, Sir Imeric is never long from Estinian's bedside, and will send word the moment there are any developments. Now, if I have satisfied your concerns, I believe Lord Edmund and his sons are most eager to celebrate your return. Very well, First Commander. Come, 'twould seem that we are awaited at Fortemps Manor.
The heroes of the hour return.
We but did our duty, my lord. It was the memories of fallen friends and not our heroism which saw us through at the last.
I gave every ounce of my strength, but mine efforts would have counted for naught had the Warrior of Light not arrived to challenge the Great Worm. As a sworn knight of Ishgard, I had hoped to do more for my city.
Well, we cannot all be heroes, dear brother. Let us put away our pride for a moment and revel in the valiant deeds of our comrade. For your sterling service to Ishgard, we salute you. And while we're on the subject of valiant deeds, I believe I myself have earned some small measure of recognition. Under my watchful command, the ballistas of the Outer Ward struck down a veritable swarm of Dravanian invaders.
My lord's command was certainly watchful. He bravely watched as the siege crews took aim, and continued to watch as countless wyverns met their end. Indeed, the ward's defenders proved so well drilled that my lord had little occasion to stop watching.
We need to promote this kid.
Yeah.
There will be time enough to determine who is most deserving of recognition later. Our friends are doubtless weary from their exertions. I had chambers prepared in expectation of your return. You are welcome to retire at your leisure.
I am most grateful for your hospitality, my lord, but I believe I shall pay a visit to the Temple Knight's Infirmary. Pray excuse me.
They didn't let you in last time, Alpha Node. What makes you think they're going to let you in now?
Our master
Wasn't
Alpha
even
Node
less
was
than 10
grown.
minutes now.
The plight of his stricken brother-in-arms pains him more than his own hurts. In which respect he has come to resemble you, warrior of light. Go then, visit the Azure Dragoon, and grant him what comfort you may.
I turn around and say, no, I'll take the nap. Where's those rooms?
Indeed. But yes, I believe old Honorroy there needs some honors. A medal, maybe.
Yeah, I noticed he had his a bow and arrow now, and in armor, so that's cool.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Just knight him already. He has to put up with that other dude's bullshit.
My friend, what can I do for the savior of Ishgard? You seek Master Alphanode. He came to relieve me of my vigil a short while ago. When he begged to sit at Estinian's side, I could not well refuse him. Though he would sooner faint to admit it, the boy must be exhausted by Racevelger's trial and all that followed. Estinian is blessed to have such devoted comrades. Hmm?
Toy.
Pet minion.
Ah. And a coat.
Oh, and another song for my theme.
My own friendship with Estinian began some 10 years past, shortly after we joined the Temple Knights. I learned his name soon enough, but Estinian barely registered my existence. I was less a fellow recruit and more of a shadow which occasionally darkened his path. And so I might have remained, had fate not seen fit to intervene. While out on patrol, our company was set upon by a dragon, and we were the only two to survive. The experience forged a bond between us, as such life-threatening situations are wont to do. Despite our friendship, he remained an intense and solitary youth, wholly obsessed with claiming vengeance against Nidhogg. Revenge was ever at the forefront of his mind. Revenge for the death of his parents, and revenge for his younger brother. I would venture that in Alphanode he sees something of a lost sibling. And in the ungentle chidings of Estinian, Alphanode has found an elder brother he never had. Truth be told, Estinian's tactless observations have saved me from disaster more than once, and I can well understand Alphanode's affection for him. He is a friend for whom I would gladly... Lord Commander, your presence is required in the infirmary. Tell them I'm on my way. Quickly, we must go to him. Upon proceeding to the infirmary, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Popcorn time.
Ominous. Ominous.
Estinian.
Cease your mewling, boy. It grates my ears.
Forgive me. When I saw you awaken, I could not... It was such a relief. We feared you might never wake up.
Now, Astinian. If Master Alphino thought any less of you, you would still be Nidhogg's plaything. Or dead.
Aye, 'twas but a jest. I thank you, Alphino. And you too, Warrior of Light. Quite how you managed to persuade Hraesvogr to aid in his brood brother's downfall I cannot imagine. But full glad am I that you did. Yet again, you have achieved the impossible.
I, for my part, owe you an apology. When last we met, I did willingly loose an arrow at your heart. Can you forgive me?
There is naught to forgive, Hameric. You but acted in defense of Ishgard as is your duty. Were you any less single-minded about it, I would not follow you into battle, nor trust you at my back. Besides, I had come to the selfsame conclusion, that I would have to perish for Nidhogg to be stopped. So let us dispense with the hand-wringing. I have heard enough mewling for one day.
Oh!
The tendrils of Nidhogg's foul presence bound up every fiber of my being, usurping my senses, but I yet retained some trace of awareness. The worm's mind was as a vast and tumultuous sea. Endlessly its black waters churned, his grief and despair at Ratatoska's murder never calming, never receding. Driven by this surging current came wave upon wave of unrelenting rancor. It was the very image of my own heart. There I saw the dark reflection of the hatred I felt after Nidhogg slew my family, when no path remained save vengeance against dragonkind. Neither one of us had a choice. But I was blessed with something Nidhogg was not. Comrades and teachers to console and admonish me. Had I not had them to gainsay my obsession, it would surely have consumed me as Nidhogg's did him, and we would have been in all respects alike. Though his shade is banished, his spirit scattered upon the sea of clouds, I feel no joy at his passing. Where once I craved vengeance, I now crave rest. Lord Commander, my hunt is at an end. I would lay down the mantle of Azure Dragoon.
My friend.
He has tired himself with too many words. I doubt not that he will make a full recovery, but he must be allowed some few days of quiet.
I too must see my path to its end. Sleep well, my friend.
Following the battle with Nidhogg on the Steps of Faith, Sir Emeric called an assembly that he might make his final proclamation as acting head of state. 'Twas there, with one decree, that the 1,000-year rule of the archbishops was ended, paving the way for a new republic. The governance of Ishgard would now be placed in the hands of high and lowborn alike, their ranks represented by the newly founded House of Lords and House of Commons. Church was separated from state. The foundation for change had been carefully laid, and the reforms proposed by Ishgard's new government passed into law without incident. His duty done, Emeric de Burrell gladly stepped down from the Archbishop's dais, only to be raised unto the highest seat in the House of Lords. Though he strove at first to refuse this honor, the unexpectedly strident voice of the Count de Durandare left him little choice but to accept. And so it was that the winds of gentle revolution came to stir. Prominent among the many honored guests at Sir Emeric's investiture were the ambassadors of Dragonkind, a fitting symbol of Ishgard's newfound peace. The people looked on in awe as he soared through the heavens on Dragonback. And by their cheers did they hail him an Azure Dragoon for a new age. Thus were the notes of the dragon song rewritten, the din of war giving way to a rising litany of peace and hope.
Well, those cutscenes managed to pass without any disasters occurring.
Mm-hmm.
I was gazing out at the sea of clouds, in an all too rare moment of idleness, when I chanced to behold a certain hero wending his way towards the city on Dragonback. Welcome home. Nay, 'twas no grave matter that moved me to greet you in person. Between you and me, I merely sought respite from the pressures of office. No sooner do I surrender my role as temporary head of state than I am burdened with a position of more permanent responsibility. I fancy that it echoes in some small measure the way you must feel when your improbable feats of heroism are rewarded with still more impossible challenges. The myth which guided our society for generations lies in tatters. Am I then to be scorned for building upon the system of nobility that I once sought to tear down? And what strange jest is it that that places me at its pinnacle, an archbishop's bastard as the head of the House of Lords? But these questions are for me to answer. It is not in man's nature to change overnight. This I learned through painful experience. And it was this hard lesson which convinced me to take the path which we now follow. Even as we rebuild the bridge between man and dragon, so must we reimagine Ishgard, one careful placed stone at a time. We must remember that it is not for us that we lay this groundwork, but for the men and women that our children will become. May their towers rise proudly from the fundament of our legacy. I hear word Captain Whitecape that Estinian has vanished from his sick room. His willfulness survives undiminished. Should you ever happen upon our unmannerly friend on your travels, pray assure him that I shall keep Ishgard safe until he deigns to come home. Thank you, and please convey my warmest regards to Master Alphanode. And I don't know who this guy is, so let's see. Oh, it's a minion quest. Ah, I was looking for you. Or rather, your friend Wedge was. Left a most puzzling message he did, with instructions to convey it to you verbatim. He requests your presence at the Aethochemical Research Facility in Azishala for a project of the utmost secrecy. Sounds like nonsense to my ears, but he assured me that you would grasp his intent. Well, that is his message, and now I've delivered it. Just one moment. Checking to make sure there wasn't an Aetherochemical Research Facility hard dungeon on the dungeon list. There does not appear to be. Ah, you have the look of a lad who's seen his fair share of trouble. Mayhap you'd be willing to help me with mine? I need a capable sort to head into the Sea of Clouds and track down my missing airship. I had to mortgage my soul to get that vessel built, so winning the contract to ferry supplies out to Cloudtop was a real weight off my mind. But it seems my luck ended there. My ship was due back in Ishgard bells ago, and I've been praying for a glimpse of her sails ever since. I can't help fearing the worst. What if she's run foul of sky pirates? My creditors will have their ponds of flesh. You think me fool to fear piracy so far above the waves? Well, let me tell you, let me tell you that no honest merchant is safe now that airship production has, if you will excuse the pun, taken off. Any scoundrel with a sack of coin and a vague sense of direction can terrorize the skies. Oh yes, this new breed of buccaneers will like to paint themselves as dashing explorers braving the unknown, but the truth of their nature is right there in the name. Sky pirates. Give half a chance, they'll strip your ship of every last scrap of cargo and cry yahar as they launch you screaming over the rails. I've heard the stories. Please, you must make haste to Camp Cloudtop. That's where the shipment was bound, and inquire the fate of my poor ship. Oh, and my poor helmsman. Ask Rontremont. He'll know, if any man does. I don't know what that quest unlocks, but I just figured we should pick it up.
That works.
Probably faster to go to the Aetheryte Crystal than to try to figure out how the stairs work yet again.
Wait, where are you guys heading?
Last vigil. Gotta talk to Alpha Node.
Yeah. I wanted to go turn in some of my points. I got 500 now.
Ah.
I need to get hands and boots for the full 270.
You spoke with Sir Imeric. I do not envy him his new position. Ishgard has chosen a new road, but one littered with the detritus of 1,000 years of broken faith. Yet though her people may stumble from time to time, I know of none better than Sir Imeric to lead the march of progress. As for us, there remains the small matter of ushering in a new dawn in the shadow of inscrutable Ascian machinations and a seemingly endless procession of primals. But we too must walk our chosen path, no matter how treacherous the footing. And that concludes 3.3. In the wake of Ishgard's governmental reform, new airship routes have been sanctioned. You may now travel to a selection of distant locales from the landing in Ishgard. I imagine those being Ul'dah, Limsa Lominsa, and Gridania.
Sweet. I wonder if it's still 120.
Are you guys seeing a big guy with a shield?
Yes.
Looking
Okay.
down where?
The abyss. No less.
Well, at first I was thinking that guy was somebody from my Paladin quest line, but he looks far more evil than the guy from my Paladin quest line. Oh, that's the Paladin from the Warriors of Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, blonde hairs. Nay, you need not remain there. We shall rendezvous at the usual place. All is proceeding as expected, then. Aye, there is naught to concern us, aside from one overly curious mouse.
It's Alphino's sister.
Mm-hmm. This way. Him again. It is of no moment. They will play their part, and we will play ours. And thus did grey mists give way to azure skies. Man and dragon rise above, voices joined in song. But beneath shrouded bows, beyond the scope of light, shadow stirs. You are come at a most excellent time. An invitation from a truly preeminent personage has been delivered to the manor, but a short while ago. Would that you had been present to receive it. But in any event, Sir Imeric de Borel, Lord Speaker of the House of Lords, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights, and Viscount of House Borel, cordially invites you to dine with him at his estate. Oh, we finally gonna get that drink? You seem surprised. The messenger assured me that his lord had broached the subject with you at an earlier date, when the arrangements for the peace conference were still being finalized. Of course, the intervening moons afforded little opportunity for leisure. But, with the happy advent of peace, 'tis plain the Lord Commander sees no further cause for delay. What say you? I'm gonna go with the top one. I was tempted to go with the middle one, but I'm going with the top one. Indeed, who would not? You will forgive me if I seem envious. I shall send word of your acceptance to Burrell Manor at once. When you are ready, pray report to the Astrologicum. They will have someone escort you the rest of the way. I'm tempted to switch into my fancy clothes, but I don't think Imeric gets fancy clothes. He gets drink time. Greetings and well met. I have the honor and the privilege to serve as the head steward of House Borel, though admittedly our staff is somewhat smaller than those of the other noble families, being countable on one hand. My lord will be overjoyed to hear that you have accepted his invitation. As you will soon see, we have spared no expense. I dare say a man of action such as yourself enjoys nary a moment's respite. Aye, the battlefield beckons even now, I am sure. But for this day, we bid you lay down your burdens and raise a glass to peace and prosperity. Well, I feel a little bad. He took his armor off.
Where's his assistant? The shield or the.
To think the Moogles would prove such harsh taskmasters.
Yeah.
Forgive me. I did not know you had suffered so in your quest for the horn. I must say, your spirited accounts always come as a welcome change from the arid reports which fill my days.
No wine here.
Why do we have 3 different wine glasses in front of each of us?
What's up with all these bottles?
A red, a white, and then water. That's what it is.
Ah, gotcha.
It could be a red, a white, and a rose. Isn't a rose different from a red?
I don't know.
I don't either. I don't drink wine.
Though I have lived in these lands my entire life, to hear you speak of them, there is much and more I have yet to see. Truly, yours was a marvelous journey. Long and arduous, aye. Not unlike the journey that Ishgard has at last embarked upon, thanks to the efforts of you and yours. By your deeds, you have helped us to lay the foundation for lasting reform. The formation of the Republic is but the beginning, for it is not only our system of governance which must needs change. We, the people, must learn to let go of our hatreds and rise above our bloody past. I only pray that I live long enough to see us achieve some measure of success, that I might know the lost did not die in vain. I can still see you there on the steps of faith, striding fearlessly towards the worm. If you could do that, who are we to balk at the challenges ahead? The question of how best to strengthen ties with the other great nations of Eorzea has been debated at length in the Lords and Commons of late. As you may imagine, maintaining stability during this period of historic upheaval is our paramount concern. Nevertheless, we are greatly indebted to the Alliance for their support during the Grand Melee, and it would be remiss of us not to repay their faith in kind. Of course, we owe you the greatest debt of all, and it is my hope that in extending our support to you and the Scions, we might also express our gratitude to our neighbors, nay, our fellow Eorzeans, whom we pray you will continue to protect. The Lords and Commons agree on very little, but not a soul in either house begrudges your order this offer of patronage. For all you have done and will do, we thank you. May I ask a personal question? Now that the dust has settled, what will you do? Not as a scion, I mean, but what do you want for yourself?
Lord Commander, pray forgive the interruption.
News from House Fulton?
An urgent message for the Warrior of Light. I was instructed to deliver it without delay. Master Thancred returned to the manor a short time ago, bearing an injured maiden. Master Leveilleur and Mistress Tataru are tending to her wounds, but they like not her chances. Respectfully, my lord, they have requested the Warrior of Light's immediate presence.
You must go to them, my friend, and I shall go with you.
For every ending marks a new beginning. From tragedy and sacrifice, we rise to greet a new dawn, as did he. only to be drawn unto another battlefield, another cause, as if by fate.
Have you already gone in?
I did, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that... Alize, Alphinaud's twin sister. She ran afoul of the Warriors of Darkness. I had been tracking them since the ceremony at Falcon's Nest. Little did I know I was not the only one. Evidently, she had learned of their activities and attempted to shadow them on her own. Poorly. I rescued her in the Twelveswood, and together we fled north. But though I made every effort to cover our tracks, they caught up with us on the Ishgardian border. And in the ensuing struggle, Alize took an arrow to the shoulder. 'Twas only after we had made good our escape that I realized it was poisoned.
Thank you for coming so quickly. And you, Sir Emmerich.
Think nothing of it.
We have done all we can for now. Although the immediate danger has passed, the poison yet lingers in her blood. We came to Eorzea together, hoping to bring salvation to the realm our grandfather gave his life to protect. But when confronted with the bitter realities of its politics and its petty powermongers, she was driven to anger and to doubt. She refused to become embroiled in what she termed Eorzea's squabbles and distance herself from the Scions. Though she remained hopeful of a brighter future, she would walk her own path. Would that it had not been so perilous. For all our differences, she's as dedicated as any Scion to the salvation of Eorzea. But more than that, she is my sister. To be reunited with her, only to lose her forever. Gods, even to speak the words.
Take heart, Master Alphinaud. She will be attended by our most skilled chirurgeons. Bear Mistress Leveilleur to the infirmary at once. Apprise Captain Whitecape of the situation, and inform him that she is to be treated as my personal charge.
Wait, don't go. Please, come closer. The Warriors of Darkness are in league with the Ascients. Slaughtering the Primals is but the first step in their plan. They make for Zelfatol to bring about Garuda's summoning and to kill her. You must stop them.
I shall inform the others at once.
Master Thancred, I would ask that you accompany Mistress Leveilleur to the infirmary. Your knowledge of her injuries may well prove useful in determining her treatment.
Of course.
Surely they won't let her... Yes, I know. We must trust in Captain Whitecape and his surgeons. Did they not bring Estinian back from the very brink of death? I am uncomfortably reminded how he mocked me for praying at his bedside for days on end. What say you, my friend? Shall we turn our attention to a matter whose conclusion we yet have the power to influence? But the Warriors of Darkness and the Ascians are conspiring to bring about Garuda's summoning, that they might put her to the sword. Then, when we first encountered them in Lost Ethnoth, when they were confronting Ravana, gods, has this been their aim all along? What do you intend to do, Master Alphanode? There is much and more I do not understand, but I know this. A primal summoning cannot be ignored. Alisaie risked her life to uncover this plot, and we squandered her gift at our peril. Will you accompany me to Zelphatal and help me stop the Exile's ritual? Given that Ishgard shares a border with the Ixali homeland, we have a vested interest in the outcome of this ritual. We have been willing to suffer the Beastmen's intrusions into Korthian lands to a point, but the summoning of a primal is an escalation we cannot abide. You shall have our fastest airship, Master Alphanode. The mountains of Zelphatal are not easily traversed, and this endeavor demands all haste. The gesture is most appreciated, Sir Imric, but I fear an aerial approach is destined to fail. This is their homeland, after all. The Ixali dirigibles are not to be underestimated. No experience tells me the only conceivable approach is by land. I believe it would be wiser to cross into Zelphatal by way of the mountain pass east of Camp Dragonhead. In that case, I shall send instructions for a contingent of the camp's knights to be placed at your disposal. They will secure your safe passage through the mountains to escort you thence to Zelphatal. Though my men are unqualified to confront a primal, they are more than capable of contending with the Ixal. You should be glad for their assistance, Lord Edmund. In the event Mistress Alisaie regains consciousness, we will share with you any additional information she may provide. May the Fury watch over you and keep you safe. Let us be off. We shall procure any additional supplies we require at Camp Dragonhead. For the record, this is a nice coat.
Have you guys picked up that house, Tomfrin Manservant quest?
Mm-mm.
Eh?
Okay. Well, there's a quest in here.
Oh, I didn't even see it. I might already have it.
Yeah, it's just a regular one. You mean the coat from the House
Oh, yeah.
Fortress?
Yeah, I just ignored that quest. Yeah, the one we just got from the quest a little while ago.
It looks warm.
Very. It's cold in Ishgard.
Uh-huh.
Alright, KJ, to Camp Dragonhead.
It's very lordly as well.
It's like a smoking jacket.
Yeah, smoking jacket.
Well, it looks like that the Dukes here or whatever.
Yeah, it's basically one of the Lord's coats, it would seem.
Where the hell's Dragonhead at? I can't find it here.
Porthos.
No, it's right in between everything.
Have everything you require, then. Excellent. The entrance to the pass is north of Nautilon, due east of Camp Dragonhead. Though it is normally guarded by a score of Ixali warriors, I have been informed that House Fortemp knights have already dispatched them. The enemy gates lies open. We need but walk through. I intend to fly. As you can see, the gate is ours. Be advised that our scouts are reporting increased activity around the first mountain. Simply put, they are up to something, and don't want anyone interfering. We stand ready to escort you to Zelphatal and aid you as you see fit. That sounds like a kind of medication. Given the numbers we are like to encounter, a two-pronged approach may be the best. While the knights and I feign a large attack to draw the exiles' attention, I suggest you and yours attempt to slip past their defenses and locate the site of the summoning ritual. If the gods are good, you should only have to deal with a few patrols. But if they are not, you may be forced to do battle with the Warriors of Darkness. Hey, are we ready for a dungeon? He said without pressing his button. Are we ready for a dungeon?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
The music's kind of interesting here. For a second there, I thought we had NPCs with us. I saw Zora's House 4-Temp Knight title and thought we had some knights with us.
Wait, when did we get that?
Like a bunch of quests ago.
Oh, when we got the shield, or?
Yeah, it was when we got the shield. Yeah, you've picked up a lot of titles since you started using Flame Lord, KJ.
It's only when it matters.
Oh, that reminds me of something I meant to ask you last night, Emo. When we were fighting, what's his name? Raban.
Yeah.
When he addressed you directly, what did he call you?
I can't remember.
Lieutenant for me.
And he would have called KJ Lieutenant. He called me and Zora Sergeant, I would assume, unless Zora's been promoted to Lieutenant since last I checked. But
I don't think I was, because I don't remember that.
well, you're not a member of the Immortal Flames, so I assume he would have addressed you differently. I just didn't know how.
He was like, I waited a long time for this, Lieutenant.
Basically, yeah.
I'm super excited that I whooped his butt.
Well, I aggroed those guys, sorry.
Whoa!
Alright. When four air stones appear tethered to a turret, kill the air stones first, otherwise kill the air... Okay, if air stones appear tethered to a turret, kill the air stones. If they appear not tethered to a turret, kill the turret.
Okay.
After the turret's health reaches 0, it will begin casting hot air. During the cast, players should position themselves underneath Nuzal, which will bring him down after the cast is complete. I guess we're going to have to, take out his balloon or something. I don't know. Kill the turret.
Thought we were supposed to kill that floating.
Only
Oh,
if they're
floating
attached
right
to the
there.
rocks, you kill the rocks.
Now get under him.
Oh, under
Oh, I
the
didn't
wrong
make
thing.
it.
Whoops. Under him was not the him I was thinking it was.
I can't find him, so.
Alright, kill the air stones. Kill the air stones. Now kill the turret. Seems only one of us has to be under him.
There were spikes that came up when we were fighting him on the edges where the holes are.
Huh. I didn't notice.
I didn't either.
I'm glad I wasn't standing there. Everybody on the elevator. Yeah.
Except for Carbuncle.
He doesn't like them. They're unstable.
At least this one had rails, like guards.
That is true. There may be more spikes on the outside, so be careful.
Yep.
Alright, this next one, they don't really say any mechanics. They just say what abilities the boss has. It says, on low, frontal cleave. On high, party-wide AoE with pushback. Stand with your back to the barriers or you will fall into the spike pit. So, see the barriers there, remember where they are, and be prepared to defend yourself with them. Dark Wings targets a random player and spawns a windy AoE in their place. Move out of it. Terrible Fury marks a random player and AoE blasts them. Move away. Swift Feather causes the next on low to be almost instant. On low is used right after. Cannot be dodged to the side as the cast is instant, so the tank must move away from the boss preemptively to dodge. So basically it's just avoid the abilities, be prepared to use the barricades to protect yourself when he uses on high. Hey, here comes the knockback. Ow. Knockback. I recommend against standing near that barricade right now. We don't want him dropping an AoE on it.
The other side's opened up now.
Okay, they do drop off then. Okay, then we should be fine. Knockback. Did you have fun in the spike pit, KJ?
Yeah, it pissed me off as I barely missed the barrier too.
Same thing.
I was like, no.
The thing was on me for the tornado when I went to the middle, but then I didn't wait for it to drop. I moved, and so it ended up dropping, and so I was trying to move to a new barricade. I barely missed getting to the new one.
Gotcha.
What's that Tailwind relic?
We need an air stone. Which apparently we get by destroying the balloons, bringing in the reinforcements.
Yeah. Well, when it first came the first time, I could target it, and I didn't understand what was going on with that.
Yeah, I didn't see it as targetable until that last time.
Okay, that thing's cool.
Indeed.
Yeah, if not a little bit. Whoa. Oh, okay. We're okay. Yeah, I'm a little guy.
I can assure you, KJ, from this height, our height differences make no difference.
It's flat no matter.
No, I
Indeed.
couldn't see. Shit, we gotta destroy the other side, don't we?
I'm gonna bet on yes.
That will probably drop us. Yeah.
Yep, here it comes. Didn't notice there was a cast bar, so I walked away before it was done casting.
What was that? The
To activate the...
Yeah.
Did we ever fight this guy?
Huh?
No, we've never been here before.
Okay. I was like, this guy doesn't look familiar. I was just wondering.
Alright. He will cast Ixali Arrow 3, which is a party-wide AoE. Ixali Arrow 2, which is a line AoE. Hawk, which is a arrows and AoE marker on one player. Stack up and run to the boss. And he can also summon Garuda, which he summons an untargetable Garuda. She fires a room-wide AoE with some safe areas and marks everyone with green green crystals and AoE rings spread out.
My mouse is having issues, and I was trying to switch, and it turned on my run. I was heading straight for the boss. I was like, no!
Oh. I can hear yelling over here. I'm like, what's the matter? What do we do with these?
Back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Although I will note, it says not confirmed on that, so... I'm guessing it's not dangerous enough for anybody to have cared.
What about the arrow?
That is stack. That is a stack marker right there. I think,
no,
yeah,
that one
stacking was bad, yeah.
Yeah, I'm dead.
I'm dead.
I'm dead.
Here comes Garuda again. Don't stack. Much less damage that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have to get my MP back up, and then I can try and register.
Stack.
Here comes Garuda again.
What do we do with Garuda? Just
avoid the AoEs. Yeah, you can't do anything to Garuda.
okay. Stack.
Garuda again. Hit him, KJ.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. They'll sound like elk calls.
Thank the gods! What happened? So they were unable to see the ritual to its completion. Then Garuda is no longer a threat, and whatever the Ascians and the Warriors of Darkness were planning has come to naught. But we should not tarry. The knights have secured our path to safety.
Well, well. What do we have here?
You'd better not have killed the Primal without us.
No, 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 no. That's what's his face.
Huh?
Shit. He was back at the vigil.
Who?
Wait, I know you. Still
He's part of the
walking, I
Scions.
see. I could have sworn my aim was
But
true.
he's got a mask on right now. Hold on.
Just
I
what is
gotta
your
finish
game?
watching this.
Leading us the long way so these fools could step in and claim our prize?
No, no. Let's not make hasty accusations. By the look of things, the ritual was proceeding as planned. We arrived at the appointed hour. 'Twas they
His name
who
starts with a
erred.
U. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yurianche?
Yes.
It is hopeless. We cannot face them all.
Do mine ears deceive? A boy! So that's the way of it. Twins! You had me worried for a moment there. Know that I will happily make it quicker for you, if you just stand still.
Enough, Jarumal. We wouldn't want to upset the man in white with any unnecessary bloodshed now, would we? You've been awfully busy since we were kind enough to spare your lives.
While you were idly consorting with the Asians, you mean? 7 hells! What could you possibly hope to achieve?
Should I explain it to you? Very well. Consider it a reward of sorts for beating us here. You know the tale of Hydaelyn and Zodiac, I take it? Of the Great Sundering and the reflections it created?
Across 10 and 3 they were divided. Reflections of the source, each possessed of shards of light and dark.
Just so. One of those reflections, the one nearest to the source, is our home. And we were the heroes blessed with her light. But not all worlds hold light and dark in equal measure. In ours, the power of light was greater by far. So the Asians, who once threatened our home, were no match. And they fell before us, one after another, till none were left. Victory, we thought. And then came the light. A flood of pure, blinding radiance, annihilating shadow and color and life itself. Ere long, it will consume our world, leaving naught in its wake but blank perfection.
That cannot be. Do you honestly expect us to believe such a story?
Believe what you like. But it has happened before, on a world far removed from ours. The 13th, which was swallowed by the dark and transformed into what you call the Void. Unchallenged light would condemn us to a similar fate. And so we joined hands with our former enemies, and with their aid came here, to the source. For there is but one way to restore the balance and save our home. The Ardor. Calamitous destruction with the power to break down the barriers between planes and see our worlds rejoined.
You would doom our world to save your own? What would even become of us? Of you?
Enough. I tire of talking. You know our cause. You know what is at stake. We are prepared to do whatever it takes.
If there is aught you would say, say it. Otherwise, begone. You have no friends here.
Well, I wasn't sure about your theory, KJ, until the end there. Now you may be onto something.
This is the first time he showed up with them. And I got another thing I need to bring up to you. Have you watched any of the Heroes of the Shield?
Eh?
The Hero of the Shield, it's anime.
Oh, talk about the Rising of the Shield Hero?
Rising of the Shield Hero, that's
yeah,
it exactly.
Yes, I have watched it.
Have you watched the whole thing?
I've watched the first season. If there's more than that, I have not watched it.
They're working on one because it was a big. It's supposed to be coming this season 2, but no. Okay, so you've seen season 1 at the end there, where the Shield Hero dude, runs into somebody from a different world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Like, oh my gosh! No, not
I'm just kidding.
That's why I asked him if he saw the movie or the series.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I'm seeing deja or so many similarities. It's like
Yep. Yeah.
And I saw that when we first saw the Warriors of Darkness, that first came to my mind, and I don't know why I didn't ask you then, but they keep popping up even more and more. And then you said that this reoccurred. The Warriors of Darkness was in another previous one.
Yep.
Anyway, okay.
All right. All things considered, we should be grateful to have survived that encounter. You think it could be true that to save their world, they must bring ruin to ours? No. No, it matters not. Such wanton destruction is beyond justification. Whatever their reasons, they must be stopped. The sacrifice, the loss, it ends here. And I personally think they're being played by the Ascians.
Yeah.
Forgive me. This is neither the time nor place for idle introspection. The knights can apprise Lord Edmont of our success, and we, the Lord Commander. More importantly, I should like to see if my sister's condition has improved. You may take a moment for yourself if you wish. I will be at the congregation.
What's congregation?
Foundation.
Oh.
The pose you're doing, Emo, looks like you're very cold.
Holding one arm, right?
Uh-huh.
That's not what I said.
I think we see different things at the same time. You like?
Yeah. I think Forgotten Knight is the closest one. Yeah, kind of like when we were all watching Midgard Sommer, and it was landing on some of our shoulders and not on other shoulders, but it was different for each of us. I think everybody does their animations to themselves, and everybody else sees them differently. Unless you push one of the emote buttons, then we see what you see. You coming, KJ?
I'm almost there.
It brings me joy to see you safely return to us. What news from Zelphatal? Then we were not too late. On behalf of Ishgard, I offer you my deepest thanks. As for we who remain behind, Mistress Distola has been tending to Mistress Alice in your absence, and I am pleased to report that she has regained consciousness. I imagine you have many questions, especially given your recent encounter with the Warriors of Darkness. I know I do. Come, let me show you to her room. Do not worry, her condition is much improved. She is a resilient, much like her brother.
Alize, how are you feeling?
Well enough, brother. Thanks to the kindness of our hosts. They told me you had departed for Zelphatal while I was still abed. I slept much better knowing that. Thank you.
I take it your mission was a success.
As if we needed any further confirmation that they are in league with the Ascians.
Nod.
But to save another world? I think not.
I too thought his story fanciful at first. But it is possible there may be a kernel of truth in all of this. At the very least, none of his claims contradict the word's account.
You were following these people, Alize. Why?
During my travels, I had oft enjoyed tales of the Scions and their exploits. But after a time, I began to hear whispers of a gifted and theretofore unknown band of adventurers. adventurers who had supposedly sworn to travel the realm slaying primals in the Scion's stead.
The Warriors of Darkness. And in the course of investigating these rumors, you stumbled upon the Ascians' involvement.
Yes, exactly.
Forgive me, but if these Warriors of Darkness mean to bring about another calamity, to what end do they hunt primals?
To prompt an escalation. To deepen the beast tribe's feelings of helplessness and despair, and thereby drive them to summon ever more powerful gods. And lest we forget, these events do not occur in isolation. With their patron deities being slain left and right, the news of man's victory over Nidhogg must surely have sown panic in the minds of the beastmen. 'Tis no wonder they wish to defend themselves.
Power answered with greater power, death with more death. A vicious cycle fueled by fear and hatred. I know it's like all too well.
Indeed. The Ascians sow discord and desperation, and the Warriors of Darkness reap the harvest. And so it continues. Yet that is not the extent of their ambitions. The Ascian himself observed that once the powerless realize that the old gods have failed them, they will have little recourse but to look to a new one.
We cannot let that happen.
It should come as no surprise, but Alize and I have uncovered evidence that the Ascians have been manipulating certain parties to ensure that a constant stream of crystals flows into the hands of the beast tribes. If we sever these supply lines, we should at least be able to slow the escalation.
Agreed. Kral and I shall journey to Zelphatol and learn what we can of the Ixal's source.
Then I, for my part, pledge to lead a similar investigation into the origin of the Nath supply.
Sir Emmerich?
As a member of the Eorzean Alliance, Ishgard is honor bound to play an active role in maintaining the security of the realm. You might also say that I have some personal motivation, given the Ascians' dealings with my father. However, I make no secret of the fact that my knowledge of primal beings is scant at best. As such, I should be most grateful if one of your order were to assist me.
Allow me, Sir Emmerich. I have dealt with the Nath before.
Let us consult with Orianja then. Given his dedication to the study of primal beings, I should be surprised if he could not tell us something of value.
Allow me to accompany you, brother. And before you think to refuse, know that I am not the girl I once was. I shall not be a burden. You have my word.
But Alize, you... You are more than welcome. After all, it was you who set us upon this path.
Wait a minute.
She saw.
I'm afraid I can't allow you to leave just
Urianger
yet.
with the
Not until you
Ascians,
try
right?
on the new outfit I prepared for
Yes,
you.
yes, she did.
She should say something now, not later.
Well, she might not know who he was.
Oh, okay. I think she does, though.
I agree.
She's got to get her new outfit.
Of course, she's also Alpha Node's sister, so she can't just be, telling us what's going on and not keeping secrets.
True.
It has been many moons since last we worked together, though I believe the same cannot be said of the two of you. I confess, I was aware of your subterranean expedition, of your search for the truth of the calamity. I considered involving myself with her venture for a time, but as you know all too well, circumstances conspired to keep us apart. I can only assume she carried on in our absence. My apologies for keeping you waiting.
My verbiage was different than yours.
So is mine.
Yeah.
I was actually expecting one of you to get the same as mine, because I thought you guys started that quest line too.
I've done like maybe one or two things. I haven't done very much,
Gotcha.
so that's probably why.
Right then, shall we be off? Cotchery never ceases to impress, though for a moment I feared she might furnish you with an identical outfit. Praise the 12 she did not. Mother and father were rather too fond of making us wear matching clothes. Do you remember the time at the studium when that girl of yours crept up behind me in the hall and whispered, "Sister, please," she was... Can we not have this conversation in front of the Warrior of Light? Oh, we need to introduce Alisei to Matoya. With all haste. So be it. Another time, perhaps. I should thank you again for your assistance in my expeditions. Though we left matters somewhat unfinished, I am nevertheless prepared to focus on the task at hand and aid you to the fullest extent of my ability. As you helped me brave the coils, so too will I help you defeat the Warriors of Darkness.
Which one are you going with?
I went with a pleasure to have you with us. New garments aside, I must say you seem different, more resolute than when we last met. You have the look of a woman who is ready to fight for the future of Eorza. To the extent of my abilities, perhaps, but I have no delusions of grandeur, nor will I pretend to have found myself or any such thing. I am here today because I would regret it if I weren't. That is all. Fair enough. Let us depart for the waking sands. Let us depart for the waking sands then, and see if Urianger can be of assistance.
Are they the same class?
They appear to be.
Okay.
They both have identical looking books on their back.
Yeah.
But I believe we are at a good stopping point for the night. So give me just a second and I will wind down the stream. Alright guys, that's where we're going to call it for tonight. And I will be back tomorrow with more Final Fantasy VI. Until then, I want to thank y'all for joining me. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all next time.